Well, I think we got to give the fans some credit. We got some of the fans here. We got a couple that were actually at the game from Fredericton, New Brunswick. They were at Game 6 last night. The energy, Dwight, inside the Rogers Centre last night was absolutely incredible. It was loud. The crowd was into it. They were loud before the first pitch ever was thrown. I mean, they were cheering when George Springer came out onto the field because, I mean, there was questions about whether he would be able to play with that knee injury after taking a pitch off his knee. But he was there. They cheered for him. They were cheering for Jose Bautista when he threw out the first pitch. And then they were cheering when Trey Savage, the young 22-year-old who's only been in the majors for a month, comes in pitching just in his sixth career major league start. And third of the postseason, and he looked very good for the Blue Jays. 5 2/3 innings, gave up a couple of earned runs, 7 strikeouts for Trey Savage, and it's the start that the Blue Jays needed from the youngster in this game. And of course, the offense was humming. They had a couple of home runs in this game. Addison Barger hit his second home run of the postseason. You had Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with his 6th home run of the postseason, which ties the franchise record for the most postseason home runs all time, and he's tied with some pretty big names when you think of Joe Carter and Jose Bautista, some of the biggest home runs in franchise history, and now Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will be mentioned in the same breath. In fact, he's still got some playoffs to play here, so we'll see what he can do. Look at the excitement.
He's going to break the record tonight. We're going to the World Series. It's going down. I'm coming back tomorrow to the fan shop to get my World Series gear. Let's go.
He's got his postseason hat on. Let me tell you something. This is the closest the Blue Jays have been to the World Series since 1993. We talk about what happened in 93. Joe Carter hit that walk-off home run against the Philadelphia. Mitch Wild Thing Williams, you remember that? And hit that into the bullpen. And yeah, the rest is history. That was one of the biggest home runs you'll ever see. Touch them all, Joe.
Let's go, Blue
You'll
Jays.
Never hit a big. He doesn't know. Come on, I thought he would know. You remember that? He was a kid. He was still a kid. But so let's talk about tonight, because tonight is a big one. You got Game 7. It's a one-game showdown, winner take all. Either you go to the World Series or you go home. The Blue Jays are sending Shane Bieber to the hill. He'll face George Kirby from the Seattle Mariners. This is the same matchup we saw in Game 3 of this series. That was the first game that the Blue Jays won in this series, and it was a big one, 13-4. Bieber was great. Lasted 6 innings, gave up just a couple of runs.
So we need it from him.
He had 8 strikeouts in that game. This is why they brought Shane Bieber over from the Cleveland Guardians at the trade deadline, a former Cy Young Award winner. They brought him in for the big games, and he pitched a big one in Game 3 of this series. Can he do it again tonight?
I think so. Oh, definitely he can. Yes, he's going to do it.
10 Ks today.
Oh, wow. This guy is confident. I just want to, in closing, before we throw it back, this gentleman from Switzerland came in just to visit Toronto, brought the kids to the Jays shop, got himself a Blue Jays hat. Anything you want to say about the Blue Jays?
Go Blue Jays, go, 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 go.
All right, there you go. All the way from Switzerland, Dwight. They are cheering for the Blue Jays tonight. It is Game 7 here at the Rogers Centre of this American League Championship Series.
Greg, we've got a great team, but we also have great fans, so thank you for bringing them to us. Go Jays, go. Thanks, Greg. Queen's Park is returning today from its extended summer break. But before today's legislative session began, our Jays were in focus as they're everywhere else in the city these days. Take a look.
Like children back for the first day of school, we have to address the elephant in the room. We need one win. One more win, right? So what are we going to do? On 3, 2, 1. Go, Jays, go!
Speaker, I seek unanimous consent to wear a Blue Jays t-shirt and cheer on the Jays as they take on Game 7 tonight.
Scarborough Southwest would like to wear a Blue Jays t-shirt. Do we have unanimous consent? Absolutely.
A million Ontarians out of work for the Premier to...
All right, so much has happened since MPPs last sat 137 days ago, from rising unemployment and tariff woes to school board overhauls and contentious opposition leadership reviews. Plenty to tackle. The CBC's Sean Jefford is at Queen's Park with more.
We expect it will be jam-packed with legislation. The government obviously wants to move on further tariff relief. Premier Doug Ford signaling that in a number of speeches last week. And, you also touched on a couple of the hot button issues that are going to come up. Speed cameras, the government promising to effectively ban them across the province and contemplating larger changes for school boards, which could be controversial. Let's hear from Tory strategist Sam Duncan, a former policy advisor to Premier Doug Ford, on what he expects to see in this session.
Expect a lot of legislation very quickly. I would caution there's some risk there. And I think the government has to manage speed versus consultation. And they've at times gone too fast on things and had to pull back different policies or different rules. So I think the risk is to get it right.
So, Dwight, you can hear the caution that Sam Duncan is expressing there. He's clearly seen it firsthand. This government has had a tendency in the past to rush forward with legislation, sometimes controversial legislation, and then have to back up and reverse course. Particularly, Duncan signaled that fight with the school boards. That may be a controversial move that they have to tread cautiously with.
It's been a tough summer for both opposition parties after disappointing leadership reviews, Sean, and we know Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie is leaving. So what are the opposition parties saying about this new session now?
Well, Dwight, you're right. It's been a real mess of a summer for both the Ontario Liberals and the Ontario NDP to degrees. The Liberals now, as you mentioned, are leaderless. Bonnie Crombie resigning after receiving a poor showing of support at a Liberal leadership convention, or a Liberal AGM, I should say, back in September. The NDP leader, Marit Stiles, also received a somewhat tepid vote of support from her members. So the Liberals are going to be distracted. They are facing the prospect of a new leadership race to find a replacement for Crombie. Marit Stiles says she has the support of her party, but she's had to shake up her inner circle. Her chief of staff, her principal secretary are gone, new people are there, and she's going to push ahead. But the question remains, are they going to be focused on the legislature or internal divisions within those parties? Let's hear from Erin Morrison. She is an NDP strategist about what the NDP needs to do.
It is very obvious that Doug Ford, his record is catching up to him. He wants to sit for as few days as possible, face as few question periods as possible, and then get the heck out of Dodge. He's looking for this to be a short session with a tight agenda, and hopefully let everybody go home for Christmas break and forget all about politics.
So, Dwight, right there, you can hear Erin Morrison saying the NDP, they're going to try and push the agenda and focus on holding the government to account.
Sean, Ford's popularity remains high since the winter election. Do you foresee anything politically that could change that this session?
You know, the economy is foremost in a lot of people's minds these days, and the management of the economy and how Doug Ford is able to respond to tariffs and the threat of tariffs is probably going to be key here. We've got 800,000 people out of work in the province, and they're looking for tariff relief measures. And the Skills Development Fund is another controversy that's been bubbling. I'll be following both, Dwight.
Thank you, Sean. Now, as politicians return to Queen's Park, a group of parents is sending a message to the Ford government about plans to ban speed cameras.
If people need a motivator, like potentially getting a ticket from a safety camera, then let's have those cameras. Let's have every motivator we can to keep people moving slowly and safely around our schools.
It helps people pay attention. When you see that big thing like your speed posted up, as a driver, I start paying attention to that. It's a big visual cue to know really how fast you're going, and I think it helps hold people accountable.
The parents gathering outside Perth Avenue Junior Public School, they're part of a provincial day of action by a group called Speed Cameras Save Lives. Premier Doug Ford maintains the cameras are a cash grab.
Rowe laid it off to Okoronkwo. Now the shot by Small, and Nikki Small's got a goal.
And I was there for this yesterday, the goal that sealed the deal for AFC Toronto. The team will head into the NSL playoffs after beating the Montreal Roses 2-1 in the regular season finale. Toronto finished at the top of the league standings. Congratulations. You're watching CBC News Toronto. We'll have more stories from our city when we come back.